Hey everyone, you know what's interesting? Everybody I talk to right now has an opinion on AI. But the moment you ask them what it actually looks like inside their team, day to day, it gets quite really fast. Today I'm joined by someone who hasn't just been talking about it. Parshwa is a senior account manager at Infinity Globus, who has been right at the forefront of integrating AI into outsourced accounting workflows. So I figured, let's just have that conversation with him and get some insights. Parshwa, welcome.
Thanks, Surav. And yeah, that gap you are describing between what's being said about AI and what's actually happen on the ground, that's very real. I think a lot of firms are still figuring out where they even stand with it.
Which is a great place to start actually, because I want to go right to the beginning of an engagement. That's where a lot of chaos traditionally lives. The setup, the planning, figuring out who does what. What did that look like before, and what does it look like now?
The first couple of days of any project used to just disappear into the planning. And even after all the efforts, things would still slip. What AI changed for us that we now walk into a project already structured because tasks are mapped, ownership are clear, sequencing has been done. So the team hits the ground running instead of spending the first 2 days just finding for their footings.
So you're essentially buying back time before the work even starts.
Exactly. And what time compounds? A sharper starts means fewer correction down the line.
That makes a lot of sense. And once the project is actually moving, that's when the next challenge usually shows up. Just getting the right work to the right people. Because every team has that one person who somehow ends up getting everything on their plate.
Every team, without exceptions. And for a long time, managing that was just instinct. You would look around, make a call, and hope it was right. What changed for us is we stop relying on who looks available and start looking at what exactly on everyone's plate. Real data, not a gut read. And in accounting specifically, a wrong allocation doesn't just slow down the things, it affects the accuracy. So getting this right matters beyond that just efficiency as well.
And I imagine your strongest people were probably the ones getting buried the most.
Always. That's the pattern without exceptions. And the base people absorb the workflow. And eventually that catches up with you as well. So with them and with their output as well.
So you protect the people, you protect the work.
That's exactly how we think about it now.
Now, here's something I think about a lot because it's one thing to build a process, it's another to make sure that they actually travel across the whole team, especially as the firms grow, as people come and go. How are you making sure that the way things work doesn't just live in a few people's heads?
That's something I feel really strongly about. Because that's exactly what happens. Knowledge lives in people's heads. The moment someone leaves, it walks out with them. What we are trying to do make sure every project leaves something behind, like what worked, what we didn't, what we did do differently next time. AI helps us capture that consistently rather than relying on someone's remembering the document it, and over the time the builds something real, a standard that doesn't depending on who's assigned to that specific file.
So it becomes institutional rather than individual. The experience of your best person starts benefiting the whole team.
That's exactly. And that's when consistency stop being something you chase and start being something you actually have.
Okay, the last one. And I think this is what a lot of people listening to are really waiting for. Because everything you have described sounds compelling, but for a firm that's still on a fence, still not sure where to even begin with AI, what would you actually tell them?
Sura, to be very frank, don't wait until you have perfect plan because that moment never comes. Just pick one part of your workflow that consistently frustrates you or creates inconsistency and try something there. That's genuinely how we started. Not with a big company, big goal, wide rollout, just one problem we wanted to solve. And we built from there. We are still building. It's not like that we done. But the time we have reclaimed, the consistency we have gained, and the breathing room it's created for our team, it's been worth every bit of it.
Just start. I think that's honestly the most useful thing anyone would hear. Parsa, this was a really great conversation. And what I appreciated the most is that nothing you said today felt theoretical for the sake of it. It felt real. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Surav. These are the conversations worth having.